writing his suicide note, Davis flipped the paper over and wrote down a plan to kill his mother and sister. Then he put it into action.
You did what? I tried to strangle her with a cord. That didn't work out.
The unthinkable has happened for a TikTok influencer. Laura Lee Watts posts realistic beauty reviews and occasional footage of her children on TikTok, where she has over 3 million followers.
Y'all, Savannah had homecoming this weekend, and it was her very first homecoming dance. You know, I had to film the whole thing. Oh my God. She looked so beautiful. I was so, just like, it took my breath away. I was like, oh my God.
But this week, Laura posted this absolutely devastating video.
I cannot believe that I'm making this video, and I'm gonna do my best to get through it. Most of you know that I have 3 children, and my oldest is Savannah. She's 15, and she's epileptic. So I wanted to let you know that yesterday morning, she had a fatal seizure and passed away. I don't know how I'm gonna live without her. Oh my God, baby.
In 2021, Laura posted a video about Savannah's condition.
Savannah has a condition called Lennox-Gastaut syndrome, which is a severe progressive form of epilepsy. Savannah's neurologist and I always hoped that she would just outgrow it as she went through puberty, but she did not. It actually just got a lot worse. What does it mean for her future? I don't know, and I try not to think about it.
According to the Cleveland Clinic, Lennox-Gastaut syndrome is a rare condition that is extremely difficult to treat. Rest in peace, Savannah.
Your brother lives there with you.
Some people seem to be capable of unimaginable evil. Today we're covering 4 chilling interviews with killers. Number 4, Susan Monica. In January 2004, the Haney children decided to visit their father, Robert Haney, who had been out of reach for 2 months. Susan Monica, Robert's boss, greeted them at the farm where he worked and told them he'd quit and left 4 months ago. However, when the Haneys noticed their father's belongings and even his dog still at the farm, they reported him missing. Upon investigation, police found a human leg in a pond on the property. Susan Monica was summoned for questioning.
He had to have been thinking, well, he hasn't returned for his dog, and what's going on here? I'm confused.
Well, I was, confused a little bit, but like I say, even when I saw him, it was sporadic.
Susan insists that it was normal for Haney to disappear for weeks, but the officer pushes her into a corner.
Susan, we found a leg by your house. I think it might be Robert.
Don't know.
Now Susan turns the tables.
Well, the leg goes to a person.
Well, I don't even know.
Obviously dead.
I don't even know that you're telling the truth. If I had killed him, why would I leave him out by my house?
The officers ask again, hoping to get an answer this time, but Susan only tells part of the story.
Susan, why don't you just tell us what happened?
Everything that I told you was the truth, up until about a week after Bobby had called me. I went down. He was like half eaten. He was...
By what?
By the pigs.
The revelations get even more gruesome.
His guts were all over the place. I went back up to my house and I got a gun and shot him in the head.
After a polygraph is conducted, Susan slips up, indicating that there might be more than one victim.
I could have left them. I could have left him there for longer, and that would be true.
And she reveals another secret.
There's part of another body.
Susan confesses to killing Stephen DeLecano, another handyman who worked on the property.
I did not feel guilty about committing murder in either case.
In the end, Susan was convicted on 2 counts of first-degree murder, 2 counts of abuse of a corpse, and identity theft. She was sentenced to a minimum of 50 years in prison. Number 3.
Good thing none of us work for her, boy. Because I tell you one thing, you work for this lady and you get under her skin, she just gonna feed you to the animals and then finish you off. Now that gotta be torture, to let your animals attack somebody, you disable them, let your animals attack them, you know what I'm saying, and then watch them get eaten half alive, and then you finish them off. Man, this lady is cold-blooded, like... Ain't no way, man.
Years in prison. Number 3, Zachary Davis.
Why'd you get rid of that shirt? It had pieces of my mother's brain stuck to it.
On August 10th, 2012, 15-year-old Zachary Davis was convicted of killing his mother with a sledgehammer.
What were the reasons that your mama wanted you to go through? She never told me.
When asked about what happened, Davis doesn't leave out a single detail.
I killed my mom in her sleep with a sledgehammer. Is there a reason why you did that? Yes, sir. Well, can you tell me what? No, sir.
There pushes him further with another question.
Did you set the house on fire too? I tried to. When you get home and your mom goes to bed at 9, where are you and what are you doing in the house? Are you in the house? I was in my room already planning everything.
But killing his mother and setting the house on fire wasn't the only thing Zachary had planned.
Your brother lives there with you too, right? That's the only person who lives with you? Yes, sir. Did you do anything to him? No, sir. I was kind of expecting the fire to kill him.
The officer then asks him an unusual question.
So you can rewind the clock and go back. What would you do? I might kill Josh with a sledgehammer too.
Curious about Zachary's monotonous demeanor, the officer asks more questions.
You ever laugh? Sometimes. What makes you laugh? Various things, various things. Give me an example. Well, I was laughing myself when I killed my mother.
Zachary Davis was sentenced to 71 years in prison.
You got this guy right here. I mean, how he looked, talked, I would have probably had him in like some kind of mental place, you know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, son, but you scared me the way you look, the way you talk. You sound like a robot, just no emotion, no expression. But who knows, he probably wasn't like this when he talked to his family. But then again, we don't even know what the family sound like, so ain't no telling.
1 years in prison. Number 2, Kevin Davis. This case took place in 2014 in Corpus Christi, Texas, where 18-year-old Kevin Davis was found guilty of murdering his mother, then sexually assaulting her.
Start at the beginning, man. What caused all this? Well, very beginning, I asked my mother for permission to die, or rather kind of commit suicide.
After writing his suicide note, Davis flipped the paper over and wrote down a plan to kill his mother and sister. Then he put it into action.
You did what? I tried to strangle her with a cord. That didn't work out too well. She started screaming. I pulled out a hammer, and she was out pretty quickly. Kind of tried to play dead at first, but then I finished it.
Kevin describes increasingly disturbing details of the crime.
And I kind of warmed my hands into her brain to kind of just cut it. She was still snoring.
And then what did you do after that?
Then I had sex with her corpse.
Kevin admits to planning everything and denies that mental illness played any role in the crime.
I'm not mentally disturbed. I mean, I'm sane. I know exactly what I did. I know that it's wrong.
Kevin Davis was sentenced to life in prison and is eligible for parole in March 2044.
Now this one right here is quite disturbing to me, just because he did this sick stuff to his mom. You know what I'm saying? And he eligible for parole in 21 years. Think about that, y'all. This guy is eligible for parole in 21 years. He looked fairly young to me. And for him to explain and go into detail and did what he did, he shouldn't even have eligibility of that action. You know what I'm saying? Just because he's a menace to society. He is something that you call. I ain't even gonna go there. You know what I'm saying? Because he the type of person you just do not let out or be around anymore.
Number 1, Manuel Vela. In December 2016, Katrina Rivera was 8 months pregnant and missing. Her boyfriend, 28-year-old Manuel Vela, led the police in a short car chase before he was arrested, with Katrina's mutilated body in his car.
Did you cut the baby out of her?
Yes, I did.
Why?
Prove a point to religion, I understood, yes, that I was gonna kill her. She understood that she had to die.
Vela calls himself the Antichrist and claims his, quote, father told him to kill Katrina and her baby.
Well, we fulfilled a pretty magnificent creation, man, to say our fact. Yes, it says very excited for the next process of experience.
During the difficult interview, he shares everything in detail.
I socked her and I choked her.
Once you cut the baby out, how did you kill the baby?
Well, I recorded it throughout the process.
Later, Manuel Vela will tell a local news station he is mentally ill. He also says that death would be a just punishment.
Because I didn't kill the baby. I breathed in him. I had some personal time with the little relationship. My firstborn son looked just like me, you know. I would had a dead woman in the back.
In January 2017, Vela was found hanging dead in his cell before sentencing.
Gotta be a mentally disturbed, sick individual. Talking about the Antichrist and how whatever crazy stuff you was talking, my man, like, you killed your own kid to prove something so dumb that don't even make sense. I'm sorry, anything that's demonic doesn't make sense to me. And your actions to killing the woman, carrying your son along with your son, and then saying you recorded it, all this other stuff, like it's just normal. It's not normal. Man, I'm sorry she had to experience that. And I'm sorry for any of these victims that had to be caught in the hands of these sick people.